My name is George and I'm giving this testimony from the United Kingdom. Today, I join hands on heart with everyone in Nsppd to say that what God cannot do does not exist. What our God cannot do does not exist. In 2014, 2015, I was diagnosed with maybe around 5 or 6 on my both kidneys. One of the cysts on the kidney became severely large with fluid. They had was to pull the fluid and take it from there. They said they knew that it would have developed back fluid inside of it. So after it developed the fluid back inside of it, they decided a few months after that they had was to do a surgery on it, which unfortunately not much could be done except for the doctors not able to do it much about that. Anyway, in 2024, I was sent to do a scan on my kidney again, and they repeated the scan again, and the doctor called me one day and said to me that she needed to talk to me if I was sitting down, etc., etc. I said, yeah, you can go ahead, talk to me. And she said to me, what we found wasn't looking too nice and we wanted to investigate it some more. So I said, okay, fine, I'm happy to. And she said, we're going to refer you straight on to the hospital now, so therefore expect the hospital to make contact with you and accept any calls you get privately so that this can be fully investigated. So I said, okay, perfectly fine, thank you for your kind support. I was referred to a particular hospital. They requested that they need a biopsy, so I did the biopsy. When the biopsy came back, it didn't just come back with the result of cancer, that I had kidney cancer. It came back that I had MRSA on my kidney as well. I had to laugh about the whole fact of this now because only God knows what I was going through. Anyway, for the last 3-4 months, Pastor Jerry calling out in prayer, kidney cancer be reversed.
Cancer of the kidney, cancer of the kidney. If you are the one putting on the live stream, by the mercies of God, I announce, let it be reversed.
That was me. I accept it. I grabbed it. I say, God, you have seen me today, and for that reason, I'm not letting go of my deliverance. So in January this year, the ending of January, I went to do my scan, and I had was to wait for the result. But my result, I was praying. When I went to do the scan, I asked the person who was doing the scan, the radiologist, to play Nsppd for me. While I lie on the bed, then they started playing, let me meditate and call upon my God. I'm smiling now because what God cannot do does not exist. I got the result the ending of March. Specialist nurse called me and she said, do you know who you're talking to? I said, no. She said, introduce herself and everything, but she was with a few more people on the line. So she said, I've got something to say to you. I said, just go ahead, whatever it is, I put God before it, so just go ahead with the report. And she said to me that, just to let you know that your result came back negative and you're all cleared. I was like, what God cannot do does not exist. Now I know what everyone else is saying. What God cannot do does not exist. The people that was around the nurse that gave me the result said to her, what is he saying? What does he mean by what God cannot do does not exist? And she turned around and she smiled and she said, he's praising his God. We're from a prayer altar that we believe that what God cannot do does not exist.